It's God's side and the other side. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you didn't.
Are we on?
Ay, everybody get exposed. Pray for all my foes, but it's the nail roll.
Okay, I think we're on.
I don't care if they hate me. This the life I chose.
Hello, everybody. It is Clay Morris on the Amazing Grace Sports Network. It is Saturday, April 5th, 2025. I am here with the inimitable Kevin Chrism in studio. He's right there.
I am. You heard that music, right, Clay?
Yeah, I heard the music.
All right, good. Good, man. All right.
I heard the music. Everything looks good. And the reason why we're doubting this, ladies and gentlemen, is because I'm not in studio right now. I am out of studio, and Kevin is manning the controls there at the studio. We had a couple of technical difficulties. We were wondering if we were going to get it corrected. By the time we came on, it looks like we have for the most part. So let's just keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah. Wonders of live radio. And you're down, in an undisclosed location, soaking it up in the sun.
I'm in Naples, Florida, and if you are on, if you can see me on screen, we are on X, we are on Restream, we are on YouTube, so we are live and stream, and you can see all this glowing sun around me. I have no lights on in the studio here. This is just pure sunlight that's bathing me. So I want you guys to envy me as I am glowing. That being said, there's no time for...
Yeah, it was a nice day here yesterday, so...
It was a nice day yesterday.
Raining today.
A little bit rainy today.
Yep.
Well, let's get on to prayer. And I don't have my spiritual victory book. I have to wait till my lovely wife brings it down on Wednesday so that I can have it for next weekend because I left it up in Boston. And so I had to make a prayer, on my own. We'll see how well this works. I have a little practice at this. Let's give it a shot. Brothers and sisters, the majority of us lament our station in life. We spend most of our lives thinking we are not big enough, good looking enough, rich enough, or smart enough. The devil has us chasing our tails in envy and in resentment. By the world's standards and designations, not many of us are wise. Not many of us are beautiful. Not many of us are rich or of noble birth. Yet we find that even those who are wise, beautiful, rich, or famous often lead wretched and unfulfilled lives without God, proving that God is the beginning and end for all that we are and all that we want to be. God, the creator of the world, chooses the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. God chooses the weak things of the world to shame the strong. God chooses the lowly things and the things that are not to nullify the things that are. You will have beauty, courage, power, and peace to the degree that you call on the name of Jesus. Your riches, your righteousness, and your redemption lie in Jesus Christ and only in Christ Jesus. He overcame death so that you can overcome the world. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. Today in history, ladies and gentlemen. What do we got for today in history? Today in history. Today in history, and today is April 5th, and the English word April comes from the Latin word aprilis, which is derived from the Latin verb aperire, which means to open, referring to spring. And if you're in Boston, you're still waiting for things to open. But remember, spring is coming. Spring is coming. Today, April 5th, 1915, Jess Willett knocks out Jack Johnson to win the heavyweight championship of the world. That happened in Havana, Cuba. And as we see Jack Johnson down there on the canvas, I think it was like 90 to 100 degrees there. So, if I got knocked down, I would have jumped back up because my back would have been burning on that hot canvas. There's no way you could have kept me down on that. So obviously, he must have been hurt and hurt badly to lay down on that 105, 110, 120 degree canvas and not get up. And so on April 5th, 15, Jess Willett knocks him out, Havana, Cuba, in front of 25,000 fans at Oriental Park. Whoever knows where that is, because Well, since Fidel has taken over Castro, who knows what's going on? My question to you, ladies and gentlemen, is how many times did Just Willett defend his heavyweight title? Okay. And the next one is on April 5th, 2010, at the 72nd NCAA Men's Basketball Championship, the Duke Blue Devils beat Butler. And the Blue Devils forward, Kyle Singer, was the most valuable player with 19 points. My question to you is, and we know Duke is in it again, we're going to segue right to that, is how many championships, basketball championships, men's basketball championships, has Duke won? And that's it. What do you think? I think you know the answers, right? Right, Kevin?
I do know the answers. And Kyle Singer, one of the great college basketball players of, I wouldn't say all the time, but at least in Duke's history, but never really amounted to anything in the NBA.
Well, that's correct.
Now.
What happens is there's always a big difference in between college and the pros. And it's one of those things you really can't predict until you see the guy play in the pros. So a lot of college players get lost. And remember this, ladies and gentlemen, do not envy, okay? Because a lot of these guys have a hard road after they leave college, even though they had a great time in college and they look like they were the cat's meow and they had the world by the tail. The world didn't treat them so well after college. And as I said in the prayer, a lot of people lead wretched lives that you think are in famous places. So use your platform and where you're at to enjoy the best you can in life. And don't worry about anybody else because it's a tough life for everybody, no matter whatever position you think they're in. Kyle Singer, one of the great players of Duke history, what was it? Ime Okafor, another guy.
Jahlil Okafor.
Yeah. And there was another guy who, whatever.
Well, I mean, look, Markel Fultz, Ben Simmons, so we can go down the line here. You
can go down the line. So,
but not
guys,
not Jaylen Brown.
Not Jaylen Brown. But he didn't make it that far in the NCAA Final Four. I think he played for California, Cal State, and they didn't go as far. So, that being said, we're on. We're speaking about the Final Four. There's a Final Four now in the NCAA, and it is Duke against Alabama. Am I right? What is it? Duke?
No, you're not right. You're not right on that, but close. You got one Duke in Houston tonight, and at 9:00, and at 6:00 also Florida and Auburn. So 4 of the number 1 seeds, Clay, all the number 1 seeds,
all number 1
in the Final Four here. First time that happening since 2008. So it's been a little bit since we've seen that. And
wow, so it has happened before.
Yes, it has happened before, and the last one, of course, was 2008, which a few years ago felt like a short time ago. Now is we're in 2025. It's been quite a few years since that happened. But anyway, we have an SEC matchup at 6:00 tonight, and of course, those games being played down in San Antonio at the Alamo Dome. An SEC matchup between Florida and Auburn, and then, of course, the primetime game at 9:00 tonight, which would be a great contest between Houston and their great defense. They've got a lot of players who are top defensive players in the Big 12. And then, of course, Duke. And we all know the story about Cooper Flagg, who is a freshman, 18 years old, youngest player, Clay, to win the AP Player of the Year.
Really?
Yeah, just a tremendous talent. And
be careful, though. Remember,
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Just goes to show Duke, no matter the coach, and they had Mike Krzyzewski obviously there for years, and now things are different. But it just goes to show, no matter the coach, Duke continuing to have a strong program and be not only reign supreme of the ACC in college basketball, which is a pretty easy thing to do, but reign supreme in college basketball as a whole. So we'll see tonight what happens. I picked Houston to win.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm still alive. Again, I had them beating St. John's. I went on that bandwagon, and that went to a crashing halt pretty quickly.
So you can't change now. You can't change no matter what. Even though they're playing Duke, you have to stick with Houston.
Correct. But Duke favored by 4.5. Florida favored by 2.5 over Auburn. I think Duke has a hot hand right now, and actually probably going to go with, if I, want to be
no way.
Want to be objective,
Kevin? No way. You're hopping off the Houston.
Well, I was never really on the Houston bandwagon. I just took.
I'm just teasing.
I think Cooper Flagg and his team, with the hot hand and the shooting, is going to be too much for the defensive use. But Houston's got a great defensive team, and I got to give my support to Bruce Pearl and Auburn to beat Florida. So give me Duke and give me Auburn to go to the NCAA final.
And ladies and gentlemen, I'm not even going to disagree with him because those are my picks also. And I don't even know as much as Kevin does as far as the NCAA and what's going on in the Final Four. But based on what I've seen so far, those were my picks. I was going to go with Duke and with Auburn. I'm really going with Auburn because it's a sentimental favorite. It's Charles Barkley's old. When's the last time Auburn has won an NCAA championship? I don't think so.
I'm,
Yeah,
I don't have all the answers, Clay. I'd have to look at. I'd have to get that information.
Yeah, we'd have to check that out. But I don't think they've won in a while, and I'm going for Auburn because of the sentimental thing. And Duke on the other side.
Right, Cooper Flagg, who is 18 years old, by the way, should be in high school right now. When you come to think of it, but the reason he's playing his freshman year of college ball this year, he was reclassified into the 2024 recruiting class from the 2025.
How do you do that?
It has to do with age, and I don't know. I'm not involved in that. So he's from Newport, Maine, too. Cooper Flagg is, and he's already committed to the draft next year. And I say to Cooper, well, I hope you like living in Utah, or I hope you like living in Washington D.C. or Charlotte, North Carolina. Not too bad places to live. But he's likely going to be drafted by those three teams, whoever gets the first pick, and going to be the face of the franchise for three teams that are looking to rebound. But hey, Clay, you look at how quickly the Detroit Pistons were able to draft some talent and bring in a new coach and sort of revamp their ways. And look at them now. So
I disagree. Because Detroit, it took some time. They had how many years?
It didn't take. I thought it was going to take longer. I mean, look at the Wizards, and look at some of these teams that have just continued to just be really, really horrendous.
Well, that's management. Management is such a great part of it. People think it's players, and players, are half the equation, but management is the other equation. Detroit has been at the bottom of the barrel for the last 10 years. They've been drafting number one for the last 5 years. So, it's about time some of this started catching up. A lot of their early draft picks are gone. Didn't they draft? Well, we digress, but I think they've been at this for about 5 to 7 years. So it is about time that they caught up. One player generally is not going to do it. I feel bad for this guy, Cooper Flagg, because whatever team he's going to, they're going to expect him to, they're going to expect a Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. But Magic Johnson already had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Norm Nixon, and Jamal Wilkes. He already had a boat. Okay, this guy Larry Bird did carry that team, but he did have a guy named Cedric Maxwell to help him out. But you're going to need other players. One player is not going to come in there and change the face of that team.
Right. Well, by the way, you mentioned Auburn. Clay, Auburn has never won a national championship in basketball, and this is the second time they've gone to the Final Four, and that's the highest they've ever gone. So Bruce Pearl looking to
come on, Auburn.
Yeah.
Make Charles Barkley proud.
Yes, indeed. Sir Charles. Let's go to the phone to talk to our good friend Wayne, who's on the line. Wayne, good morning. Welcome on in.
Hey, Kevin, Clay, good morning. How are you both?
Very good.
Hey, Wayne, how you doing?
Good, thank you. So he defended his title only one time against Jack Dempsey.
I wouldn't call that defended because he lost. But
you said one title fight since he won the championship from Jack Johnson.
Jack Dempsey just beat the heck out of him. He lasted 2 rounds with Jack Dempsey, and that was it. That was over.
Well, he said Jack Dempsey might have had the gloves.
He did.
With
plaster of Paris. His gloves were loaded. You could tell by the way he was swinging, the way he was throwing his punches. His gloves were loaded. Yeah, they were loaded.
But Kevin, you are a smart man, as I am also rolling with Auburn.
There we go, and that's a nice SEC matchup. And we got to give some credence to and some support for Bruce Pearl, obviously a BC grad and local guy as well. And he's really obviously, we know him from coaching at Tennessee and then going over to Auburn. So give me Auburn and give me Duke in a very good national championship for college basketball.
Give me Liberty or give me Duke.
What's that, Wayne?
And speaking of BC, did you see Ryan Leonard started his pro career with the Washington Capitals the other day?
So get this. So I was actually I
Yeah, he was
folks
there.
know here in the show that I've been sort of doing a silent protest to the Boston
Traitor.
Bruins, but
Traitor.
I was offered given an opportunity to go to the game the other night, and I accepted. So doesn't mean I aren't still protesting. But anyway, but Ryan Leonard, of course, that was his first game, and obviously being able to play at the TD Garden, a lot of his teammates and Wayne, a lot of his teammates were there, and a lot of followers, and it was great to see. And of course, and warm-ups, they Capitals come out in the ice first, and Ryan Leonard he went out there alone first, and they usually do that for new players. And there was great enthusiasm, just great spirit, and from both Bruins and the amount of Washington Capitals fans that were in the TD Garden. I've gone to a number of Bruins games, more than I have Celtics games, and I got to tell you, I was amazed to see so many Capitals fans there. I've never seen at the TD Garden before for a Bruins game that much of an opposing fan base. And there's a reason for that. And there's a reason for that. Obviously, Ryan Leonard, the connection, but also a lot of people, and there was history made last night with Alexander Ovechkin tying the all-time scoring record of Wayne Gretzky's 894. And Ovechkin did score in that game as well, one goal to come 3 away from that.
Why can't we get players like that?
Well,
he had a chance to take the record, but it would have been an empty netter, and he didn't want to do it.
Good for him.
It would have been a cheap goal.
Oh, so. for sure. And just back to Ryan Leonard too. I mean, imagine this. You're playing for BC, and you lose to Denver in a tough game in the Frozen Four. 48 hours later, less than 48 hours later, you're at the TD Garden playing for the Washington Capitals in the National Hockey League.
I got to ask a question. Guys, why can't we get players like that guy? Why don't the Bruins get a player like
Don Sweeney? Talk to Don Sweeney and Cam Neely.
That's what I want to hear.
I'm sure they'll take our calls.
They're right here on ComEd because you also have the BU line coming up, the 2 Coles from BU. Right. I mean,
they don't want to pay the money.
The NHL
they don't want to pay the money, guys.
This is true. It always comes down to the Benjamins.
There's no doubt about it. And by the way, too, the Bruins have lost 10 games in a row, I might add. And the St. Louis Blues and head coach Jim Montgomery, well, they've won 10 games in a row. And I'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that.
But yes, but Wayne, it was great to see Ryan Leonard, and so many folks were so happy to see him, and of course scoring his first goal of his career last night with the Washington Capitals in a very historic game. And congrats to Alex Ovechkin, and he'll look to break Wayne Gretzky's record, which he will do next game or 2 that he's out there.
Well, gentlemen, thank you very much. Have a great day.
And I owe you a poster or a mug or a T-shirt. Wait,
I'll take a T-shirt, please. Thank you.
You got it. You got it coming.
I love the banter between you two guys. It's like you guys been together for over 20 years doing this stuff. So keep up the great work.
Well, it feels like it. Thanks, Wayne.
Thank you, Wayne.
Bye-bye.
Kevin will be hosting this show when I'm gone because Kevin is much younger than me. He'll just take over the reins and just keep rolling it, push it nationwide and internationally. Because let's face it. I mean, I'm on the back 9 here, Kevin, and you are on the front 9.
No.
But you know what? It's great to be.
We're all in this together.
It's great to work with somebody who's passionate about sports and loves to talk about sport and the information that comes with it. So I'm very fortunate.
Likewise. Anything else on the NCAAs?
No. Let's cut and give our commercial sponsors, give our sponsors a little time here so that people can hear what they do. Ladies and gentlemen, how would you like to feel better, stand straighter, and enjoy daily activities without pain? Then look no further than Karma Don Yoga. As one of the more accomplished yoga instructors in the New England area, Karma embraces many different styles of yoga, including vinyasa, slow flow, yin, and restorative in order to tap into your pranic energy and create a balanced mix of healing, stretch, and strength. Find her and her very affordable classes online at karmadonyoga.com. That's karma, like good karma, bad karma, dawn, like the morning dawn, yoga.com. CamadanYoga.com. Hey, are you feeling a little achy or sore from the cold weather? Then take a visit to Dylan's Russian Steam Bath. At Dylan's Dry Sauna or Wet Steam Room, you can de-escalate, de-stress, and detox your body and mind. A hot place of massage or a variety of oil massages are available. You will enjoy the relaxed atmosphere that features a nutritious snack bar, large screen televisions, and comfortable lounge chairs to cool off in during your visit. They have 2 convenient locations, one in Chelsea and the other in Quincy. Find them online at Dylan's Russian Steam Bath or call 617-549-3484 for more information. To enjoy your best health, visit Dylan's Russian Steam Bath, where heat, steam, and water have a therapeutic effect. Or if you want to have a therapeutic effect with heat, just come down to Naples after May 15th. And believe me, you'll feel that heat.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
You'll get
By the way,
heat.
I misspoke on the St. Louis Blues. They haven't won 10 games in a row. They've won 11 games in a row. So I just want to put that out there. But Jim Montgomery was a problem here.
Yeah, Jim Montgomery's. Our coaches are always a problem. Claude
right.
Julian, Jim Montgomery, they're always a problem, and that's the reason why the
Well,
Brewers
no, I
have to
mean,
move on.
Claude should have been fired, but Cassidy should not have been fired. Well, certainly now Jim Montgomery shouldn't be fired. And if the St. Louis Blues were able to win a Stanley Cup this year, or at least get to the Stanley Cup, I will laugh until the cows come home, because with the way the Bruins are playing right now, they've lost 10 games. Clay, they haven't won since March 11th. I mean,
Listen,
we are now almost a month away from that happening.
the Jacobs do not care. They got butts in the seats, and that's the only thing they care about. The only thing that would ever change, that would make the Jacobs sell the Bruins, because they could care less whether they win or lose, as long as they're making money, from the concessions, and the Celtics too, because the Celtics rent the place there. The only thing that would ever change is that the Celtics got their own stadium. If the Celtics got their own stadium, then the Bruins would be forced. Now, the Bruins management, I'm not talking about the team, I'm talking about the Jacobs, would be forced to start looking at what they're doing and whether they're actually bringing in a profit. If they're not bringing in a profit, the Bruins are gone.
Well, the question is, where would you put that arena?
Put it with City Hall.
Not a lot of room in the city of Boston.
City Hall needs to be raised. I mean, that place is. I mean, not that it's. I'm not even going to talk about whether it's functional. Let's just talk about that it needs to be a new City Hall. I mean, how old is that? Like 40, 50? It looks terrible. It leaks there. It floods there. It's just a terrible look. Take that whole plaza right there, and there is your new Boston arena for basketball.
Well, there we go. Clay Morris, the architect, as well.
Put some thought to it.
No. All righty, then let's move on to the NBA. Celtics winning last night at home, back at the TD Garden, blowing out the Phoenix Suns again. And it's very interesting, Clay. I didn't watch the game last night, but the Phoenix Suns, just once again these super teams that they try to bring around. They've got Durant, they've got Booker, Bradley Beal, and they brought in Mike Budenholzer this year. 35-42. They're going to have a losing record this year and probably miss out on the playoffs too.
Definitely they should.
So that's going to be very interesting to see what the next saga in the Kevin Durant world, the next chapter, I should say, in the Kevin Durant saga happens in the offseason. But Clay, 5 teams in the Eastern Conference have clinched playoff spots. Of course, the Cavaliers, 5 up in the Celtics. I think we're content on saying that the Celtics are going to be the 2nd seed in the Eastern Conference right now. Cavaliers
definitely
have the 1st, and you've got the Knicks at the 3rd seed right now. Indiana clinch as well, the 4. And the Detroit Pistons have officially clinched a playoff spot.
Detroit basketball.
They are 3 back of the Pistons for the 4 seed, but likely those two are going to be facing off against each other. But you've got Milwaukee as well, a half game behind Detroit for the 5th seed. So that'll be very interesting to see. It depends on if Milwaukee would rather play the Knicks or the Indiana Pacers going forward. I think regardless, Milwaukee would get bounced in the first round. And then you have for the play-in, of course, where the Celtics would play the higher of the seeds remaining in that. You've got 4 teams, Clay, right now with, all losing records. The Orlando Magic, the Atlanta Hawks, the Chicago Bulls, and the Miami Heat. This is exactly why I've stated before to you publicly on the show that you should get rid of the play-in tournament. I don't think it does anything. Why are we rewarding teams the chance to go to the playoffs when they have a losing record? And as badly I know every year is different, but as badly as the Bulls and the Heat have played this year, the Heat blew out the Celtics the other night. I attribute that to the fact that the Celtics were coming back from a long road trip, and they won every game on that road trip, and they actually were playing some better basketball as of late. But why should we be rewarding teams that are 7 to 8 games under 500 for a chance to go to the playoffs and make a run if they get hot? I just don't understand that. I don't understand that logic.
You know, it even shows better up on the West Coast because they only have 2 teams. The 2 teams that they are going to be playing in, the 9 and 10, are the 2 teams below 500.
Correct.
1 through 8, they're all over 500, and those are the teams that should be in the playoffs. I agree with you, Kevin. These teams that are below 500 and way below 500, as we look at the Chicago Bulls, 36 and 42. Both of them, Miami Heat and Chicago Bulls, are both 36 and 42. 35 and 42. They should not be. They should not even think about going to the playoffs.
No.
But here we go again. We're talking about money.
Right. Well, you mentioned the teams, the 7 and 8 in the West, the Clippers and the Grizzlies. You put those 2 teams, Clay, in the Eastern Conference right now, they're 4 and 5, as opposed to being a 7 and 8 in the West.
Yeah.
So, and Memphis, by the way, who, was really hanging around as the 4-5 all year, now is at the 8. They fired their head coach, Taylor Jenkins, which in a surprising move, I thought, last week. And, John Morant continues to make gun gestures and has been fined repeatedly. And, we all know the story with John Morant. Clearly, he hasn't learned.
He just made one particular gesture. And I don't know if he's really, I think it's the past that's coming back to haunt him.
Well, $75,000. I know that's not much for him, but
now who knows? I don't think he's a bad kid, especially in the last 2 years that he's been playing. The guy's been exemplary. He's been a model guy on and off the court. So it looks like those things might be behind him. But we go back to this whole lifestyle and what some of these players are growing up in, and that culture needs to change. Is idea of what's fun, what's acceptable, what they're accepting, and how it's affecting their culture. You can't take that everywhere you go. You can't take that in the NBA. You can't even take that where you're at for the most part because we have too much drugs, violence, and crime happening. So the whole culture of how, well, let's just say it, how, the whole Black culture of what they're saying needs to change. It has to be away from guns and violence and, immoral type situations, which they do nobody any good. So John Morant, I'm sorry that you got, that this happened to you, but you've been a good player for the past 2 years. No cursing, no swearing. I mean, that's pretty darn good considering what I've seen in the NBA. Let's just hope it continues for everybody in there. There's an upward trend of morality and good behavior. But back to the Celtics.
Yeah, I don't want to steal your thunder. I know you got a couple of thoughts on the Celtics, so go right ahead.
Okay, the Celtics. Well, they're number 1, and the Celtics are the best franchise ever. They won more championships. They put more players as far as Paul Silas, Dave Cowens, John Havlicek, JoJo White. I mean, they're the best franchise as far as players character. And we talk about character as far as players' character go. Easy at McCarley, who was traded away, who gratefully said, listen, I'll volunteer to get traded to St. Louis so they could get Bill Russell. These are the type of players. Jim Loskatov, a guy who played with hurt knees. Bob Cousy, guys who sacrifice, all the way to Tom Sanders. Right now, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. And that being said, I know that Joe Mazzulla is a great coach. He's a better coach than I ever will be, or ever thought I could be, or ever will think I could be. He's an innovator. He's a motivator. He's a terminator. He's all these things and more. And I respect the Celtics franchise. I respect Joe Mazzulla. But Joe, stop playing the starters. It's over. You're in second place. You're locked into second place. I don't want to see Jason Tatum out there. I don't want to see Luke Cornett. I don't want to see Kristaps Porzingis, Sam Hauser, Drew Holiday, Derek White, Peyton Pritchard. I don't want to see Peyton Pritchard out there. I want to see J.D. Davidson, Torrey Craig, Miles Norris, Drew Peterson, Nehemiah Cater, Baylor Shireman, Xavier Tillman, and Jordan Walsh out there on the floor. I want those guys out there for the rest of the 2 weeks that they have to go. Rest the starters, and let's just move on with that.
I think it's a fair argument. I mean, look at the 5 games the Celtics have remaining. Washington, and they travel to the Knicks, travel down to Orlando, and then 2 games at home, finishing up against the Charlotte Hornets. I mean, you mentioned the fact is true. The Celtics are pretty much locked into the number 2 seed. They don't have much else to play for this year. So in terms of, we've talked about this before, the injury management of the Celtics and the susceptibility of them being injured, particularly Porzingis. I would say everybody too. I mean,
and Holiday and Brown right now.
Exactly right. It's not rare for you to look at the injury report each game and you have one of 2 star players, sometimes 3, listed as game time decisions due to several different injuries that they are dealing with. So with 5 games to go, I mean, obviously the big game is circling the calendars against the Knicks on Tuesday night. But again, it doesn't really matter. The Celtics are locked in to the 2 seed. The Knicks are fairly certain to be the 3 seed at this point, unless, barring a late collapse here in the last 5 games to go. But I think it's fair to say that we need to start seeing some of these younger guys out there in more minutes and go from there.
You're in the playoffs. I mean, you're in it.
Yeah,
you're locked in the number 2 seed. You're not like the Bruins. Okay, you haven't lost 10 in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right there. I think you've won 8 of the last 10 or 9 of the last 10.
And they've gone in the opposite direction, the Bruins. I mean, they like Clay, for me, watching them on that last road trip going out west, I mean, that to me, that solidified that this team, despite the fact they are the number 2 seed in the East, they are the best team in the league. And I think if they have to face Oklahoma City, that's going to be very, very, I think that's going to go to 7 games. Whoever the team is out west, Oklahoma City has proven themselves to be the best team in the Western Conference this year. But you never know.
Yes.
Golden State's been there before.
They're looking good.
They've looked good as well, and so we'll see. Let's go to the phone.
They look good.
Good morning. Welcome on into the show.
Hey.
Kelly, there he is. Kelly. Good morning, Kelly.
Kelly.
Good morning. Hey, Kelly, what's going on?
You're on with
We're speaking of the Celtics, but give us a LeBron report. What's the LeBron report? What do we got lately on LeBron?
Firstly, let me say, Clay, I love the backdrop you got there, the background you got going on behind you.
You like that?
Good messages. Oh, yeah, pretty cool. But, LeBron James, do we have time for that? I mean, I'm going to,
definitely. We got time. We got time to hear about the face of the league.
Is just an hour show, you know what I mean? So, but just to dive right into LeBron, the people listening probably ask him why are we still talking about it, because he just keeps adding fuel to the fire, and we're talking about it because it's still hot. The things he does, and I know I said it. This man is just setting himself up for one of the worst exits like a top player could have, like when he retires.
It couldn't happen to a more deserving person.
Yeah. Start with that beef with Stephen A. is like the hottest topic.
Oh, my gosh.
A little back and forth, and then he goes on the Pat McAfee show, complains, and people may say like Stephen A. was wrong for that, but LeBron kind of kickstarted again. That's something that should have been done in private, but LeBron chose an audience to handle it. And then another thing with Pat McAfee show, for LeBron's, like he's got these big supporters in his corner, say like a Shannon Sharp, Kendrick Perkins, and one of the biggest ones, Brian Windhurst, who's following.
Oh yeah, that's his paid guy all the way from Cleveland. Came with him.
Oh yeah, went on the McAfee show and dogged him. Call them weird or something like that. Because the thing is, like, if you're a supporter of LeBron James and you say something bad about him, he'll cut you.
Oh,
That's what happened with Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp said when he was critical of LeBron on one thing, he unfollowed him. Kendrick Perkins, big LeBron supporter, said one thing about LeBron, he cut him. And that's how he rolls.
Well, how's he?
And
I mean,
I like to,
besides socially imploding, how's he doing on the basketball court these days?
oh, well, I'm glad you brought that up, Brother Clay. Basketball, I'm going to give him a bit of a compliment, which is probably going to shock a few people. I mean, he has been playing well. But however, there is some rumors surfacing about the old being 40, looking that good physically and playing that well. I hate to do this, but hey, I look at myself some kind of Roman reporter, so I'm a finder of facts. So I listen.
No, it is a fact that he was. It is a fact that there were steroids coming from the Balco company to his house. I mean, we all know that.
Boom.
Back
There you go.
back in
And
Miami, yeah.
that's
I mean, yeah, that's a known fact. I mean, it went to what's his wife's name? Savannah. It was going to Savannah though. It was going to Savannah James. Yeah, she was the one taking the steroids,
Yeah.
but not. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
we're supposed to believe. So
Yeah,
we
there
already
you
know
go.
that that's an
And then
established fact.
Yeah, and then that's where I was leading up to, right there. I mean, excuse me, but yeah, when you got that, like you got in line to that, so this doesn't surprise me, how well he's playing, and for that much, and also, like the biggest one, there's also some new developments about him knowing about that trade.
we predicted that when it happened.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's evidence. There's actual factual evidence of a phone call conversation with one of the Morrises that plays the Morris twins that plays for the Lakers.
I think it was Marcus. Marcus, or was it Markeith? One of the two.
Yeah,
Markeith. I'm sorry, Markeith.
yeah. He was in the conversation. He was talking to his twin brother about that and how LeBron had reached out to him about coming to the Lakers before the trade. About he wanted to come over to the Lakers. And
gosh, that's the face. That's the face of the league right there. He's got a following of people that believe that he's the best thing out there since sliced bread. He'll cut you in the second. He'll stab you in the back. And meanwhile, since he's playing so well, the record is 5-5 over the last 10 games. That's how well the Lakers with LeBron James, even with this new steroid upburst, is playing.
And they're scheduled. If the season end today, would face the Minnesota Timberwolves in the first round and give the edge to Minnesota on that one. But anyway,
thank you, Kelly, for the LeBron report.
We got to run.
That's what I have my LeBron James report for the week. So
thank you very much. We can't live without it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I would say I'm all done, but with this guy, you never know.
No, you'll be back.
Yeah, so Kelly Daniel checking out.
Thanks, Kelly.
I'll talk to you guys next week. Yep. Bye.
Thank you, Kelly. Well, there we go. The face of the league, according to Adam Silver.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
I got nothing to say. I just don't care about LeBron. I really don't. It just doesn't impact me. Like I don't care.
But we have something that does impact us, Oyama Investments.
Yes, it's our friends at Oyama Investments here. Thank you. Keep us on the air each and every weekend here with Dylan's and as well. And well, if you're looking for a smart investment and searching for a place to call your home, we want to welcome you to Oyama Investments, where your dreams find a foundation. And at Oyama Investments, well, they're more than just your real estate partner. They're your trusted partner, building a secure future. And whether it be investing in a property that will grow with you or purchasing your dream home, they make the process easy, transparent, and rewarding. Oyama Investments, they specialize in finding properties that align perfectly with your goals, and imagine yourself owning a piece of the future. Whether it be a luxury apartment, a commercial space, or a family home in the perfect neighborhood. And if you're new to the real estate investment world, well, don't worry, they're here every step of the way, helping you make informed choices with confidence. And with real estate prices rising, there's never been a better time to invest. And if you're ready to see your dreams come to life, visit oyamainvestments.com. Give them a call, 617-221-8881 today, where your vision becomes reality. That is our good friends at Oyama Investments.
Amen. And get in now. Prices will rise on as the economy changes. So Get the prices
And
while they're low.
that's the operative word, change. Yeah.
Change. There's always
Stock market
change.
wasn't good today, or has not been good the past couple of days. But anyway, Clay, let's transition to the Red Sox here. The Red Sox, of course, well, a different tune than what we were talking about last week here. And Red Sox back to 500, 4-4, opening day at Fenway Park yesterday.
Speaking of change. Speaking of change.
Yeah. Big win against the St. Louis Cardinals, 13-9. The Red Sox came out firing on all cylinders offensively. And, well, Walker Buehler did not pitch well. And I won't mince words about that, and kept the Cardinals in the game where they really shouldn't have been. With the way the Red Sox started out, they had back-to-back home runs. Bottom of the first, Trevor Story and Willie Abreu continuing to swing a hot bat. And Clay, well, the slump is over. Rafael Devers doing something in Baltimore that may shock you. He got a hit. Yes, indeed. Rafael Devers getting his first hit of the year and his second hit of the year as well. Down in Baltimore, finally breaking out of that 0-for-21 start to the season. 15 strikeouts in the first 5 games. Certainly was not a good start to the season for Rafael Devers. Hopefully, knock on wood, that the cobwebs and then some are off, and we're going to start to see the Rafael Devers that we've been so accustomed to in the past 5 to 6 years that he has been with the Boston Red Sox.
Listen, the guy's good. The guy's good. He's gonna be okay. He's gonna be okay. It's gonna take a while. I think by the end of the season, he's gonna be a solidifying force in that spot, the DH spot. I'm not sure they want to bat him too, but if they want to bat him too, it's up to Cora. I'm going to defer to Cora on all of these managerial matters.
Right. Alex Bregman also swinging the bat well, of course, down in Baltimore, 3 for 5. The other day, with a 2-run homer, his first in Red Sox uniform, added 2 doubles, an additional run scored with 3 RBIs. So he's swinging the bat well. Just goes to show, Clay, that while the Red Sox deal with some inconsistencies and some injuries continuing in the starting rotation, so long as the offense continues to swing the bat well and click on all cylinders, and everybody's contributing now, especially young Christian Campbell, and we talked about Willie Abreu, Trevor Story, Alex Bregman, everybody, even Tristan Casas as well. Everybody really contributing here, and Jaron. Who can forget about Jaron Duran? You start to forget about like Ceddanne Rafaela and some of these other guys that are out there with the way.
I'm kind of willing to forget about Ceddanne if he keeps going this way.
Yeah, well, maybe he's the one to trade. I know we talked about that, but
yes, he has that value.
Regardless, yeah, right. I know.
This one thing I want to say on something you brought up.
Okay,
who are the 2 players who have the best on-base percentage in the history of the Red Sox?
I don't do the trivia, so you tell me.
Ted Williams, Alex Bregman.
So playing at Fenway Park.
Playing at Fenway Park.
Yeah, and Alex Bregman. That's why he's here. That's
unbelievable.
That's why he's here. And so far so good. So again, there's only been 1 game at Fenway Park, so there's a lot more to get to.
Yeah, but over the years.
Right, over the years playing.
Over the years, yeah.
The Red Sox
He's killed at Fenway Park.
The Houston Astros have faced off against each other. So, and I got to tell you, Clay, too, Garrett Crochet, tremendous pitching performance early this week down in Baltimore. 8 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. That seems to be working out as well. He had a solid start opening day, but an even better start in his second go-around against Baltimore, and that was really great to see Garrett Crochet.
Okay.
Hey, we've got another caller on the line here. I think this is our friend John. John, is that you?
Yes, there's happy opening day to everybody. Day late. Hey,
happy opening day. Happy opening day.
Have you guys been talking about these torpedo bats at all?
No.
I was going to mention it, but they are taking the league by storm.
I'm going to tell you something. I think it's the biggest scam ever pulled on the American public by Major League Baseball.
What do you mean?
Come on. It's too easy. It was developed by an MIT scientist who just happens to be a Major League Baseball coach. How many people can claim that on a resume? 1? I just think it's too convenient. It's opening day. Baseball wants all the extra publicity it can get. Put him on the Yankees. Let Judge have a few torpedo bats. Don't let him use them one day, and then he goes 0 for 3.
Well,
you know what? It doesn't taste right. It's like a bad movie, Clay. I just don't. I don't buy any of it. And why now? Wouldn't it be illegal? Wouldn't it be the same exact thing as putting cork in a bat?
Well, you can make that argument, but I got to tell you, John, it's taken the league by storm. I didn't realize the phenomenon that was sort of happening with these torpedo bats until I started to see it with the Yankees and all these other players. And it just goes to show, you mentioned MIT and how analytics has taken over the league. And, we've talked about that for years
I'm
now.
not a big fan.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of that sabermetrics. I like baseball when Pete Rose would go head first into third. I liked it when Louis Tion had the gyration. There weren't any sabermetrics back then, and it was a great game that led into our national pastime. Now this analytics, he hits 620 on Thursdays when it's not raining. It's another thing. Well, I guess it's just a thing. It's the same as technology.
Can I ask a question? Did Rafael Devers start using the torpedo bat yesterday? Is that what happened?
Maybe. Did you see that? That felt like a weight coming off his shoulders, I bet. I mean, how does anyone just think about this? How hard is it for a major leaguer or any other baseball player to go 0 for 19?
Over 20, more than that. 21. Over 21.
With 50 strikeouts.
With 15 strikeouts? I mean, what are the odds of that? 1,000,000 to 1?
I know.
You think you're going to get at least you're going to get maybe a hit by pitch or something, or a reach base on an error, or a cheap single.
You got nothing.
To go for 21 with 50 Ks.
Wait, if we had known the odds on that, if we could have bet that,
don't get started. Milk my can of worms there, Clay.
I know. I'll leave that alone. I don't know why that came into my mind. Just because John was on the line.
Go ahead, John.
Hey, I know. Hey, Clay, you're like me. You're a results player. Would have, could have, and should have.
Yeah, right.
And if left out. I mean, everybody says that after the fact. You'd be the perfect Monday morning quarterback.
What do you see for the Red Sox going forward, John? What do you see?
I think they're competitive. I mean, I don't dislike this team. I'm not in love with it. I wish they had a solid number 2, number 3 starter.
Correct.
I like how Bayo, I think, has a bad back. I mean, again, it all comes down to pitching. But up the middle, they're not bad. How about this kid at second base, Campbell?
And I totally agree with you on the pitching. I totally agree with you. Other than Crochet, I'm not impressed with Buehler, Walker Buehler. I'm not impressed with who's the other guy with Fitz. Other than Garrett Crochet, I wasn't impressed with Brian Bello or what is this?
Hold on. Too much crosstalk here. Wait, hold on. Too much crosstalk here. Go ahead, John.
You got to give a guy like Michael Fitz a chance.
Richard Fitz.
Let him pitch his way. Yeah, Richard Fitz. You got to let it. If he has to pitch his way out of the rotation, let it be. But Sandy Koufax came up in the minors with the Brooklyn Dodgers, if I'm not mistaken. So let's give this kid a chance.
Well, three pitchers on the injured list right now. We mentioned Brian Bayo, Cutter Crawford, and Lucas Giolito, who we still have not seen.
Yeah.
And so the rotation, the way it stands now with Crochet, Walker Buehler, Tanner Houck, Fitz, and Sean Newcomb, likely going to change a little bit when we get these 3 guys back. And I think for Bayo and I think for Lucas Giolito sooner rather than later. So we shall see what happens. Yeah.
Hey, you'll find a lot about this team tomorrow. Sean Newcomb's pitching.
Sean Newcomb from Brockton, Mass, and pitching on Sunday Night Baseball tomorrow night as the Red Sox try to win the series from the Cardinals. They play today against them 4:10 this afternoon with Richard Fitz on the mound. Hey, John, we got to head out here, but thanks so much, my friend.
Okay.
Keep calling, keep listening.
Thanks a lot, guys. You guys are the best.
Good man. Thanks. All right, Clay, we've got about 5 minutes on the show here. If you have any more on the Red Sox, I know we wanted to talk.
I'm not sold on Giolito, Bayo, or Cutter Crawford becoming the number 2, or it's the number 2 guy on the team. So I'm at a loss.
Bayo's supposed to be that guy.
I know he's supposed to.
and it's too bad because I mean, listen, it's 2 starts in. I'm not willing to completely throw Walker Buehler out, but I said here last week, like if Walker Buehler was able to replicate some of the success he had with the Dodgers, look out because he was a top line guy.
He was.
With them, and he battled injuries and obviously I mean the Cardinals they lit him up pretty good. The Red Sox didn't come out as so strong as they did on the offense yesterday. The Cardinals would have won that game. So
they would have.
Anyway, 5 minutes to go here in the show, Clay. I know we want to talk briefly about the Patriots and some news that has come to town as of this past week, and that, of course, is a big trade the Patriots made. Kind of went under the radar, not very publicized. I guess that happens when your backup quarterback gets traded, but a guy that I think Clay and I both believe has some real potential to possibly be a starter in this league at some point. And that, of course, is Joe Milton being traded not to a team that on paper needs a quarterback like the Cleveland Browns, the Pittsburgh Steelers, or whoever. No, they trading him to the Dallas Cowboys. What does that say?
Cowboys
like,
with Dak Prescott.
What does that say? If you're Dak Prescott, what do you think when you hear that news?
Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Clock is ticking, Dak. As a matter of fact, the clock should have been ticking a while ago on you, Dak, but it's ticking even faster. Yes, Joe Milton could probably take his place by the middle of the season. Dak won't last the rest of the season. He always manages to get hurt. So I believe by midway in the season, if not toward the latter end of it, he will be hurt again, and Joe Milton will step in, and so the legend of Joe Milton will begin.
Well, he's got a great arm. We know that, and in the short glimpse we saw him this year, I mean, to me, and again, it was just the operative word being a glimpse. To me, this guy has some great potential, and obviously, the scouting department and the Patriots front office saw that potential, but they saw more in Drake May. So you can't keep everybody.
You can't keep everybody.
Yeah. So there we go.
They had to make a decision. I thought they could make a better one, but then again, we have teams like Cleveland and other teams that actually really need a quarterback, and they can't make a decision. So I got to give a little bit of credit here. They finally came to the realization they can't have two young quarterbacks in the room vying for the job. It's just going to be too much tension on that team. One of them had to go, and of course, it's going to be the guy that you drafted in the 6th round as opposed to the guy you drafted in the 1st round. To see what you can do with that.
Well, Deion Sanders coming out of the meeting with Jimmy Haslam, the owner of the Cleveland Browns, saying that he believes that they're going to take either his son Shadur or Travis Hunter. Cleveland, of course, owning the 2nd overall pick, and I would think likely that the Titans are going to take Cam Ward at number 1. And the Giants too have said they're not ruling out a quarterback, even though they signed both Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston in a very head-scratching move. I don't know what direction the Giants are going in.
Where are they going?
What the Patriots do will be interesting to see. We can talk more about the draft next week. Do they go the wide receiver route? Do they go the offensive line route? I know Will Campbell from LSU has been talked a little bit about. And just one news, too, it seems to be likely and the inevitable happening that Aaron Rodgers is going to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
Starting quarterback. It basically said all the stars are lining, but they haven't worked out a deal yet. But, the Steelers have stated that there's no rush. But it looks like Aaron Rodgers, knock on wood, however we look at it, likely going to be the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Tomlin deserves Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers deserves Tomlin. Mediocrity meets in the middle.
Indeed. All right, Clay, we've got about a minute and 15 here to go. Any last words on anything?
Yeah, I would like to say, Bruins fans, you deserve more. As we can see, the Celtics come in, they draft a guy, they bring him into the league, and he's out there on the ice. I don't know why the Bruins can't do. I know why they can't do better, but I'm just saying, Bruins fans, you deserve more. As far as the Joe Milton thing, happy trails, Joe Milton. Let's see what happens. As far as the Patriots go, Patriots trade the pick, trade down, and get a bunch of picks. You can still get an offensive lineman further down. You don't need to draft this guy and spend half your cap on it. That's what I have to say.
Oh, there we go. We'll see what happens as we get ready to talk about the NFL draft coming up here. Any
final thoughts there, Kevin?
No, we'll just continue to watch the Red Sox well as we make our way through April. We've got the Celtics, of course, getting ready to wrap up their season. Looking forward to talking about the playoffs. Here we go again for the Celtics, and looking forward to
number 2, Banner 19.
Yeah, seeing what the Patriots
Being a
do and everything. So enjoy the games this weekend. A lot of great sports this weekend. Clay, enjoy Florida. We'll see everybody. Take care.
See you guys next week. Enjoy Boston. Enjoy all of America.